and welcome back to Doz's Television Workshop, where today we're going to be having a look at this Samson Servo 201A power amplifier. Okay, so what have we got? Servo 210A. Apparently one channel is down. It's come via a friend of mine, Steve. Whether it belongs to a place he works or to one of his students, but one channel doesn't work. This looks worrying. This knob appears to have signs of glue around it and is at a very jaunty little angle. So yes, suspicions. We've got a screw loose over here, so maybe somebody's been in there. Maybe that's just work loose, I don't know. So let's get this top cover off and let's have a little look. The lid is very much banana shaped. Oh, we've got some evidence of unpleasantness going on here. Right, which way up was that? That way up, so we've got a problem with this side perhaps. Right. TSA 1943 and TSA 5200. Are those the ones that are gettable still? Here's hoping. Right. We can see the dreaded brown glue. This is adhesive that has started to go hard and then starts to conduct, which is most unpleasant. Mains coming in here. No, mains goes to the transformer, as you'd expect. So what's going on with this front panel as well? This is... I wonder if that's actually our problem. This pot, I can just see down in there. Let's zoom in, see if you can. If you can just see... Shut that up there a bit. If you can just see, there's the pot is there. You see it's three legs. Well, I think in there I can see the metal part is broken out. It's had a whack, hasn't it? I wonder how this part comes out. Oh, right, okay, we've got a front discussion. Oh, it gets worse. Let's see if we can pop this sort of front panel off. Oh dear, that doesn't look good. We're going to need to take that knob off. Zoom back out again. There we go. Oh dear. It's not got a grub screw, is it? It's just a push-on thing. Let's get a suitable spudging tool. That may assist us. Steve said he didn't hold out much hope for it, so I'm not being too polite. I'm gouging it a bit. Oh dear, no, it's a stubborn thing. Can we get this end cap off? I wonder how they originally... This end's obviously seen some utter abuse. I wonder if they were fixed on with star washers or something and they've broken off. No, don't appear to be. I wonder if it is just a sort of glued on arrangement. So the next tab is going to be along here, isn't it? Yeah. Oh. What a horrible method of construction. I mean, you can see in there, that's the remains of the pot that's broken apart. So I am right, that's going to all have to come out. There's a diminutive little fan in there, look at that. I bet that's as noisy as hell now. Right, let's carry on. This wasn't made to be serviced, was it? we're coming away now. Now I've obviously got to get that knob off there, and that's going to be a bit of a stubborn job. I wonder if I can just use the front to minimise any damage and lever it out that way. Oh, it's coming. Would you believe it? That pot's in bits as well. Or, of course, I've just broken it. One of the two. Either way, what else is remaining? Got one little tab in there to come out. Oh, we're away. Yeah. Okay. Lots of hot snot. Yuck. We'll have to glue that back in. Yeah, so that pot's been absolutely broken off in its shaft. And there's a piece missing from it. Right. Unless that's on there. No, I think that is complete. It's obviously had a whack and smashed the front on this side. I think I might have just broken that one. Mind you, even that's at a jaunty angle. Right. First job is to get two pots, isn't it? How am I going to get at that? So to get that off, we're going to have to take the ears off, some screws around the front panel, and hopefully then we can just lift it forward and gain access that way. Right. So take these reinforcing parts off. Note longer screw than the top parts. One here, I'll do the other here. Oh, there's bits rattling around on the inside as well. Ah, it's melted parts from the back of how, that's how they fixed the front panel on. They melted it. Now we need to take these off, I think. There's like countersunk type screws. Couple around the power switch. Remove this power switch escutcheon for a moment. Power switch isn't screwed to the front panel, it appears to be screwed to the PCB itself. So, we may have to take some screws out of the bottom as well to free this part up. Try that. Yeah, we're going to need to take the screws out of the front at the bottom as well. The main socket isn't very secure. We will need to attend to that. Yes, right, okay. What have we got wiring wise that we've got to liberate? The headphone jack can come out of there. I think we may have enough to just about get access then. Where's that going? That's going in over there. That can stay going in over there for now. Yeah, there's bits of all sorts of stuff smashed on the back here. Oh, and it's punched through the board as well. Yeah, and it's covered in that bloody awful glue. Right, let's just remove that. Came from there. That's 15 volts. J16A. And this seems to be just gunged right in the wrong place. I'm going to scrape some of that glue away just so I can access the joints on the pot. And they're absolutely broken up anyway. Where's the other one? Oh, that's covered in glue as well, and that's broken. Ah, this glue's just got to the state where it's not quite gone dry and crispy enough to crack off. This has, look. Nasty stuff. Nasty stuff. Right. Let me just clean that up and I can get at the joints. We'll get the pot out. See what value it is and obtain a replacement. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to need those out as well, aren't I? There's another 10 screws. Just shows how these jobs snowball. What a horrible design, look. Just that thin piece there to stop it doing that. Very unpleasant. Yes, right. So, two bizarre little mounted LED boards. Why didn't you build that into the front panel? Oh, well. We have got the two broken pots. At least we can see what value they are now. You'd think. Where are my magnifiers? Just get a nice shot of the back of my head. And it's 10k and it's log. We will have something similar to go in there, I'm fairly sure, in stock. If not, I shall find them. That won't be an issue. Some discoloration to the board over here, and that's by some little surface mount resistors, so they've obviously been getting warmish. Right. One other thing we best just do is check we haven't got any monumental short circuits on an output stage, because I don't think there's any money on the end of this, so we don't want to go spending a vast sum of money on it. Okay. No shorts there, so the output stage has at least survived. What's that? It's another mystery, look. If I just zoom in again, oh, that's going out. I'll get that right one day. Can you see that there? There's a stub of wire or something just been cut off. Well, that's about P3A. It's on like a spade connector, I think. Don't hold out much hope, but hey, let's get these pots out and get them changed. Right, well, I have got some pots in my parts bin that are nearly the right value. Certainly work in this circuit. But you can see there, the shaft is a lot shorter, and I've just had a look round in the usual suspects for the right thing, and they don't appear to be available, which is unusual because I've seen these all over the place. So I sort of pushed them back together. Not ideal, but at least it'll allow us to do some testing, because I don't know what the rest of it's like. I suspect that's our problem, but I don't know. So first things first, we're going to have a little look with the meter on the output, just to check we haven't got a massive DC or anything. There is a protection relay there. Never trust them. Right, so we'll have a little look on our there. I've got 1 millivolt signal coming in. It's sorry, 4 millivolts. It's currently switched off, so that's not going to be doing anything. What we want is a bit of mains. This, as usual, for safety, is connected to the isolation transformer. I don't like that either. That's just hot melted in, that socket. That's a disgrace, isn't it, really? Right, switching. I'm going to put the power on the front. Excellent. I don't think that's going to short out to anything, no. So let's switch on. Okay, I heard the relay click. There's no DC on the output. Let's just switch the output on and see if we get any deflection on this sort of LED meter thing going on. That's not looking promising. Let me just double. No, I haven't got the output on. Now the output is on. Right, let's see if we get any deflection on that meter. 4 millivolts, quite a small signal mind, so let's turn that up to 100 millivolts, shall we? Oh, hang on. What do the LEDs mean on the front? There's a level meter and something else. Signal. Well, that's the right-hand channel. And we're feeding the left. Speaker. What's that button? Oh, okay, that's the speaker relay. Yeah, we've got, what's that? 8.4 millivolts, that's nothing to worry about. So why have I got a speaker, why have I got noise going in that channel and not in the other? Let me switch it off, see if it is. No, it isn't. Right, let's go for 50 millivolts. Output's on. Okay, I now have power shown. Let's just switch that off to prove it. Okay, there's a bucket of channel crosstalk as well, I think. Okay, so that is in fact working. So I'm just going to check the other channel. Let's just kill the power for a second. Right, power's going on. We have a click, we have speakers, we have very few millivolts there of DC. That's lovely. Okay, so this is worrying. Why am I seeing a signal there, especially when I'm not actually switched on? Let's turn that up a little bit. Let's go for 100 millivolts. Yeah, so a little bit screwy going on, eh? I haven't got any DC on the speakers, so let's throw caution to the wind, shall we? Connect up the workshop speakers and we'll go from there. Right. I have to say, I'm not particularly impressed by all the preamp being over here on the power amp board. It's cheap, I suppose, isn't it? Where's my other speaker test lead? It comes in here somewhere. Right, there it is. Right, volumes are down. You did have to pull a gulp of inrush. Right, let's see what we get here. Okay, that's one channel working. And the other one isn't. Okay, I'm just going to power off again. Have we got a bridge mode? Stereo and bridge mode. So it's in stereo, so it should be... of course I'm not feeding both channels at once. It appears our right hand channel is utterly dead. So this one over here, and this is the one where the pot was in a bad shape. What I didn't do is clean the glue off and have a look at the joints. Electrically, I think the pots are working. So yeah, our output is on. It is so we're getting a signal though. Well, we're clearly not. Okay. That's the power back off. Ooh. Capacitors are rapidly discharging. Let us see if we can get at the back of here. Let's see what we can do with that. So it's soldered on there. So left hand channel's working, right hand isn't. I'm sure the mounting lug's being broken off. I think they're okay. Would you believe that? No. Okay. The other thing I noticed on here, we've got two relays on the speaker protection board. One is a tiny little thing and the other's a monster. Why would you mismatch them like that? Right, power's going back on. Okay, I've got signal going into the left hand channel, speakers connected to the right, and I've got no output. So something's screwed up over here, isn't it, in the preamp section. So the right hand channel, and it's working with that control. This control is doing nothing. How odd. It's almost like it's in some sort of bridge mode, but it isn't. Let's give that bridge switch a squib. In fact, in bridge it would be working only via one input, but you'd have output on both sides, surely. One out of phase with the other. Okay, still the same, I think. curiouser and curiouser. I don't think bridge mode's working, is it? It's going to be a horrible thing, because I have to lift that board out to get at any of that. Let's see if we can find a schematic online, I think is the answer. So I've just had a look at the user manual online. It's all I can find. And it does state that when the unit is in bridged mode, so we are currently in stereo, when the unit is bridge mode, only the left-hand input is connected. Now there's a couple of op amps here. You'll never guess what they are. They're any 5532s. So those are just the left and right signal processing amplifier, if you like, the first preamp. Then over this side we've got another one, and I suspect that's the inverter that's inverting the signal to one amplifier. Because in bridge mode, the two signals are out of phase on the output. Therefore you get your one output, twice the power, half the damping factor sadly, but twice the power from those two middle sockets. Because as this amplifier is swinging up, this one's swinging down, you get twice the voltage. So just to check the phase without getting involved with the oscilloscope, I've got the amplifier on, we're outputting a voltage there, we've got 3.59 volts across our speakers there. I've got 3.59 volts across the speaker there. So if I go across the middle two, if it is in bridged mode, we should see 7 and a bit volts, and we haven't, we've got nothing. So the thing is still in phase. Let me just switch the speaker output off for a second, click that phase reversal over, switch it back on and see if that's working. No, it isn't. So I think our problem is over there in however that mode switching is dealt with. That's really nasty. Couple of things I have noticed, there's a cut-off lead down here, and that is marked, there's a blank plug up there, 4A, and one missing down here, which is 4B. We've also got that cut-off wire, and I just don't know what that's all about. Oh, hang on. Put the power off for a second. What's that in there? I just want to get a pair of tweezers, I think. Who's had on me pairs of tweezers? There we are. Why is there a piece of insulation in there? Has it been frigged so it only works in mono for some reason and not bridged? I'm missing a connector over here. Oh, I'm missing screws here as well. Yeah. Alright, so that pot works, that one doesn't. That one was the one that was glued up anyway. Doesn't make any difference because it's all coming from this side. So where does the feed come in? It all comes from this amplifier PCB over here. Where does the signal end up? Let's so that's the volume pot on the one side. What's the button? That's the volume pot on the other side. Yep. So those are the two volume controls. So it's going to be in this area here. But I'm betting if I take this out, that switch has been knobbled. That's a lot of work, isn't it? How on earth am I meant to get all that out of there? Right, yeah. Well, it's no good like it is it? Let's fetch it apart and see how we get on. I have disconnected the mains, but I'm just going to pull the leads out for a minute. I'm going to use a pedestrian operated screwdriver this time. Remove that. EG it says on this screw, earth ground, fair enough. Where's my pot of parts? Over there. Do I take the transistors off the heatsink, or do we think the heatsink will come out? Screw missing there, I think. One there. There's bound to be one holding the sockets in. There's one missing from there, but there's one there. It might have been missing from the factory. Unusually, it's got a... they'd have bothered fitting a thing underneath it. Oh, and it's loose. Okay. This isn't right either. What's going on? That's wobbling around all over the place. Is that even attached? Don't know. All will be revealed shortly. Right. Yeah, as usual, a couple on there. Oh, one on there, and a couple of nuts to undo. So it's weird. Only one input's working. They're both feeding both channels, and the bridge switch. It's only listening to the left-hand side, and the bridge switch isn't working. It's a weird one, isn't it? I wonder if we've got all sorts of stuff disconnected from down here. What's that? Oh, that's the... Is that part of the bridging circuit? I wonder. One's a speaker protection relay, and the other one. Would you want to switch an output on bridge? It's right by the bridge switch. Curiouser and curiouser. There's another screw in the middle there. This is this screw that's misbehaving. He's been very chewed up in the past. I am not the first to have been in here, without a shadow of a doubt. Right. More bits of stuff falling out. What holds the heatsink in? Mini screws. Fair enough. Hoping the whole board will sort of drop out then. What's going on there? Oh, those were the screws for the fan. Oops. Put them back in later. Ah, yeah, this is the one for the heatsink, alright. Totally different feel to it. Same screw, however. I'll just put two back in the fan. That's the fan being out, it's going to help me. Let's hold that thought for a moment. Two nuts to undo on there. I'm missing my spanner recently. I don't know where it's gone. Somebody's had it. Ah, dropped down the side. Brilliant. Reunited at last. So I'm going to have to ease the whole lot forward, so probably a good idea I did undo the fan. So see the jacks have to clear the rear plate. Okay. So what do we reckon? Do we think that's going to fold up? Ah, look, you see, there's same sort of tag as we've got missing over here. I mean, it's quite possible it's for another type of amplifier, isn't it? Another model. I'm going to have to be quite brutal in a minute. Come on, out you come. Where's the little fan plug in? Oh, miles away. Oh, it's hitting the transformer. Quite possible this sort of bridge switch here has failed on one set of contacts and is only sort of doing the mono thing permanently and not doing the switching the phase inversion, isn't it? Entirely possible. Look at that, it's just a shade too. Yeah. Oh dear. Can I go? I can't go down. Can't come up because of that thing in there. Oh, I just need a. And that's doodah, more room. Shall I be abusive? I have one. Because violence. Ooh, right. Let's have a look. It all looks factory. Have we got this on a camera at all? No, hang on one moment. Let's just zoom in on the worst camera I have. There. I mean, it all looks pretty factory. There's no dry joints or unpleasantness that I can see. Sockets are good. There's been some rework done there, but what's that? Driver stage of some description. Right, we're going to need a schematic, aren't we? Now, I did have quite an extensive Google search for such a thing, and I was out of luck. Which is a pity. One channel switch is there. It goes down that wire over to this bridging arrangement here, and that is the right hand channel that's not on when we're in bridge mode. Is that, humour me for a moment, is that actually soldered up? Yes, it's fine. Just a shadow, I think. Right. It's made of Chinesium, isn't it? But I'm wondering how helpful the manufacturers are in the event of me wanting a schematic. Do you think it's worth an email? What's the worst that can happen? Well, I emailed the manufacturer because I couldn't find a circuit diagram anywhere online. They sent me, after a week, an acknowledgement that they'd received my email, and I've heard nothing since. Now, hello. You see, every now and again we find something else. Why has that been taped up to a different colour? What two have been put together? Was that done by the manufacturer? No. I'm starting to get a drift of what's going on. What I was going to suggest was this has been stuck in mono for some reason. The output here isn't being switched over to bridge mode. So this pretending it's in bridge, but the output, which I surmise might be done by one of these relays. But look at this. Why have those two wires been connected to one there, which is an output from over here? Isn't there a snipped off blue wire? Yep, there, look, from the other channel. Is this other channel actually faulty and the whole thing's been bodged up to run from mono? Right. I wonder. And is that why we've got odd relays in here? This thing's been utterly got at. Now, if that's the output, what do we got? P7A, and that's called P3A over here. Is that the same blue thick wire? Well, it looks to be. Let's just pull that out, cut that bit of heat shrink off, and just have a little look. I think this has been bodged up to be a mono amp, because that's not coming out of there. Has it been bodged up because somebody just wanted a mono amp? It's rather unpleasant though, isn't it? Because this is being, if that's the output and those are in parallel, yeah. Where does this go? That's obviously something to do with the relay control. Somebody's got at this and we don't know why. Now, Steve did tell me, I don't want you to spend a long time on it. So I wonder if we just power it back up, see what we've got on there. You know, we've got a fair amount of work to do to get this back to being a sensible amplifier. And is it just going to be too much? Right, let's stop there. I'm going to find out if we've got something horrible going on here, and then just report back to Steve and see where we want to go with it. This has been got at. I wish I'd spotted that previously. Look, I wonder if we pick that apart. I have to say, I'm not inclined to take this much further at this point. I don't know the history of it. I don't know what's been done to it. We're starting to piece together its archaeology. It's not an expensive piece of equipment, although it does belong to an organisation that is possibly a little bit down on their luck and money. So I would like to help them out where possible, but, you know, what's going on here? We've also got that other missing connector somewhere. There was another one, wasn't there? That one has been snipped off. Look there. Without a schematic, I'm never going to make something of this, am I? Unless I spend hours and hours reverse engineering, one, the amplifier, and two, somebody else's bodge. Yeah. I do fear this may be the end of the road for this one. Bit of a shame, but there it is. Right, let's just peel that back and find out what's going on under this nasty bit of tape. Couldn't even be bothered to find a bit of heat shrink. If this is twisted together, I think I'm out. If it's been soldered, I don't know. I'm going to have a word with the owner and see where we go with it. There's a lot of tape on here. A lot of tape. I think they did at least solder it. Yeah, look at that. There it is. Oh no, hang on. Is that soldered? That's a disgrace. Somebody's attempted to solder it. Let me zoom in. One moment. There we go. So you can see somebody's attempted to blob a bit of solder on there, but I haven't warmed that up at all. Oh dear. Do you know what? Let's speak to Steve and see what he seems to think. Well, off camera, I did power up the right-hand channel that had been disconnected, and sure enough, it is dead. And if you remember in the first video, when I took the lid off, there were those smutty marks, those resistors that have gone very, very suddenly open circuit for some reason. Yeah, it's had trauma. Somebody's bodged it up and removed bits, and at this point, I'm out really. I don't have a schematic to send it back to how it originally was. The other thing they did was they coupled both channels together. Well, what they've done is they're using just the left-hand channel to feed both sets of output sockets in parallel. And there's a warning on the back of the amplifier that it's rated for a minimum of 4 ohms. Of course, now if you get two 4-ohm speakers in there, you're going to have a minimum of 2, and it's not gonna end well, is it? It's been got at. It needs bits. I don't have a schematic. I think this is one destined for e-waste, and I hate to say that because, you know, I was trying to help a mate out and it's not gone well. Such is life. Once again, we can't win them all. I don't like to show projects that go south on the channel really, but I thought, you know, I ought to do more because they don't all go to plan. Some of them I make videos on, I get, you know, a couple of hours in, you just realise you're fighting against nothing. It's stopped being an interesting video. It's a long time ago. It's just a struggle, and we can't win them all. So that one's going to e-waste, I'm afraid. Also, there are bits of it that aren't quite electrically up to scratch safety-wise, and knowing where this is going, it needs work. So no, that one is for e-waste. But there we go. Sorry, Steve. Sorry to the college. Can't be helped. Yeah, anyway, I hope you found that interesting. It's some stuff that, you know, turns up, and some bodges are quite clearly obvious, and we can unbodge them. 2 or 3 of those bodges are perfectly obvious, but there are 2 that aren't, and without the schematic, I'm just out of the water with it. There we go. Right, as usual, click like, subscribe, do all that rubbish, ring the old bell, that's a good one. What else happens? Yeah, that's it. And come back really soon here on Doz's Television Workshop. Cheers now. Bye. And that's the phone. Oh, BB. Hello, BB. I'm very well, and you? Bye now. Bye. The legend that is Brian Harrod. Where were we? We were making a video. That'll do. That'll do. One hit.